Like and subscribe right now, or you're going to have terrible luck for the next week.
Only the best hands make it through the military because the organization is out for real business. To weed out incompetent persons, the military introduces rigorous exercises that ensure that only capable are recruited. Would anyone in their right mind want to quench their thirst with Cobra's blood? I doubt the possibility, but with soldiers, these and more are possible. Please sit back and relax as I take you through 10 of the most insane military training ever. Number 10. The Road to Heaven. The Taiwan military has decided to train their soldiers physically and mentally because it's believed that the psychological being of a person is just as important as the physical. Although real life can be pretty intense, this training prepares the soldiers for most of the most brutal battle conditions. The Road to Heaven test is the final stage of an intensive training program that lasts for 9 weeks. The recruits are expected to carry out different exercises, including crawling along a 150-foot long path. This might not seem like a big deal until you discover what fills this path. Spiky corals and rock abound here. As the trainees slowly move across them, they undergo excruciating pains due to the deep cut made by this object. I should also mention that to qualify for this level of training, a soldier must be deprived of sleep for at least 4 days. The commanders believe that only the fittest and strongest are selected and can successfully become full soldiers. Number 9. The Firewalk. Belarus is also called the last dictatorship in Europe. The principal characteristic of a dictatorship is a powerful and feared military. The Interior Ministry of Belarus controls the affairs of security in the country. The soldiers are subjected to some of the most bizarre training that involves obstacles in adverse conditions and physical tests. The servicemen from the special unit have some of the toughest guys in the world. To prove their rigidity and confirm their acceptance as members of the elite Red Berets, they must complete some extreme courses. The first test is a quick 10K march, followed by an extreme assault course that includes storming a high-rise building, acrobatics, and hand-to-hand fighting. To make things harder, the commanders introduce extra challenges like live gunfire to throw the recruits off balance. The purpose of this exercise is to allow recruits to get used to their weapons and know how to operate them. It also offers another opportunity to fire live ammunition without worrying about an enemy returning fire. Remotely controlled cameras or binoculars are employed to observe this kind of training. The equipment used here ranges from missile systems to artillery fire. Number 8. Shot to the chest. The Russian Special Forces is one of the most feared worldwide. Therefore, they deal with a variety of threats from both domestic and international terrorists. This means that they must always be alert as any event may occur. Recruits undergo extremely dangerous and vigorous training to ensure they are ready and can handle the task ahead of them. These exercises are part of an exclusive Russian competence training course. One of the most adventurous techniques involves shooting each other's chest. The motive behind this is to prepare the men for getting hit by an enemy or on the battlefield. In the process of this exercise, some soldiers end up wounded by the gun's bullet, while the bulletproof vest luckily protects others. No matter the outcome of this training, the trainees are expected to fire back as quickly as possible and be accurate. This task is quite dangerous as there are a series of cases where they turn out to be fatal. Nevertheless, the commanders ensure that some of the precautions are taken to avoid extreme cases. Number 7. Cold Water Training. The Navy SEAL is a popular name because they perform some of the most discreet yet dangerous tasks in the world. What we're unaware of is the length these men go to train for their jobs. The Navy SEAL trainees put up with the utmost surf torture, also known as cold water conditioning. The first step of this process is being submerged in mud, then their arms and legs are tied up as a part of a drowning proofing, after which is pushed inside the water. The trainees are expected to spring up and down 20 times. After that, they float for 4 or 5 minutes, swim to the shallow end of the pool, and turn around without touching the bottom of the pool. How is this even possible? A face mask is placed on the bottom of the pool and it must be retrieved. On their way to recovering it, they will be attacked by a BUSD instructor who they must combat to avoid drowning. Remember, their limbs are still tied. How absurd is this? Number 6. The Sludge Run. The British Royal Marines organize a 32-week training course that turns civilians into commandos. This mud run is highly dreaded not only by the recruits but also the top recruits. They consider it as the most exhausting part of this training. Trainees are compelled to carry out extreme physical exercises in very thick mud, making it so difficult to move. You can imagine how exhausted and downcast these soldiers feel, not to mention how terrible the sea sludge smells. Their uniforms give little or no protection from the mud entering their actual body in a situation like this. To make matters worse, their superiors yell at them and give unreasonable orders like asking for 100 push-ups, crawling on their hands, and leaning through the shore. This is no child's play. However, the aspiring Royal Marines participate, hopefully dreaming of wearing the coveted green beret that signifies the most elite of Britain's fighting forces. They'll do anything to achieve their dreams. Number 5. Hot grenade, hot potato. This group of soldiers holds their life in their hands even before reaching the battlefield. Training in armies should be one of the most challenging tasks as it requires a great deal of discipline, accuracy, and courage that can be summoned in times of war. However, the Chinese soldiers have given a different definition of these qualities. As a form of training to make these soldiers hardened, a life and death game called Hot Potato is played. And trust me, we're not talking about potatoes, but hand grenades. The pin of this little explosive is pulled as the men form a circle and pass it to one another. Such risk. This game goes on until the very last second when the final person with the grenade throws it down a hole and dives for cover as it explodes. I can't help but wonder, what happens if... you know what I mean. Number 4. Shirtless snow fights. Before a soldier becomes full-blown, they undergo some of the craziest drills ever. They run, participate in tedious physical exercises, and do all sorts of things to stay fit and acclimatize themselves to their new environment. Imagine going shirtless in a freezing location like Leh while doing all the activities. Soldiers in South Korea and China are sentenced to this intense training in temperatures as low as -30 degrees. This is a real case of survival of the fittest, where the strongest men come out victorious. This drill teaches endurance and the skills to fight even in extreme weather conditions. As part of the exposure, soldiers perform push-ups, wrestle, and play cavalry battle games in the snow. The US Marines also undertake similar training because of the exigencies of the job. These drills have increased warfighting capabilities and improved overall performance. More importantly, the Republic of Korea is doing this to stay alert of weight attacks from their enemies. Number 3. North Korean Storm Corps training. The North Korean Storm Corps training is said to be the most insane military training exercise on the globe. This force is highly secretive and information about their affairs is usually confidential. The little knowledge gathered about this army was by a defector, and according to him, soldiers must punch the trunk of a tree 5,000 times in a row, after which they punch a spiky can until their hands are filled with blood. Shouldn't this be illegal? The craziness doesn't stop there. With their injured bloody fists, they are forced to punch a pile of salt. Adding salt to injury is just an idiom, but I guess it happens to be the reality of North Korean soldiers. Allegedly, this turns their hands into rock-hard weapons, making it almost impossible for their enemies to beat them in a fistfight.
Now it's time for today's best pick.
A subscriber came across this video on the internet and sent it to us for clarification. Like him, if you find content on the internet and need to know more, send it to us and we'll get back to you with the details. Number 2. Cobra Blood Cocktail. Just how crazy does this sound? An 11-day exercise called Cobra Gold is conducted yearly in Thailand. It consists of 13,000 men from 4 Asian countries, namely South Korea, Japan, Singapore, Indonesia, and the United States. This training covers the assault on land or water, humanitarian relief, evacuation of allies, and techniques to survive in a jungle. The naval instructors teach these Marines how to kill venomous cobras without getting bitten by them, after which they encourage them to drink the animal's blood. This may be unthinkable, but the cobra's blood is said to have nutritional components that can sustain the soldier in an emergency.
Before we move on, I have a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. Just leave a like on the video, smash the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you'll get 25 years of good luck. Try it. It really works.
Number 1. Philippine Navy SEAL Drunk Hell Week. The Hell Week is another name for the Philippine Navy SEAL's final week. The reason for this name is apparent. Soldiers are expected to stay awake for 1 whole week without more than 1 hour of rest at a time. This is equivalent to no rest, as an average human is supposed to rest for at least 6 hours daily. It's tough to keep up since they perform rigorous exercises. During the final week, they are expected to practice target shooting for several hours, running 6 miles without stopping, and swimming 18 miles. All of these sound normal, right? Well, wait till you find out that they perform all these actions while heavily intoxicated with alcohol. This means that they could shoot a colleague instead of the intended target due to obvious reasons. More so, considering the health of the soldiers, it's not ideal to take alcohol into an already tired body, or maybe they are built differently. There you have it. Military training is practical, and only those who are successful with these drills are enlisted. Would you encourage someone to participate in any of these if they wanted to become a soldier? Please tell us in the comments section below. Like and subscribe to this channel for more premium updates. You can go a little further by clicking the notification bell so you're the first to see our uploads. Until another episode, adios!